Hey guys, it's Davey. I am back with another custom McFarlane figure, and today we're going to be turning the Mortal Kombat Joker figure into something a little more comic accurate. Let's get started. So I think this Mortal Kombat Joker figure is actually really underrated. This is by far my favorite Joker head sculpt. It's a nice mix between comic and realistic, and the suit is really good too, so I think it would serve as a perfect base. So we're going to go ahead and cut open the package and take the figure out. We're also going to need epoxy sculpt. This is a two-part sculpt that you can mix together, and it hardens a lot like plastic, so that's what we're going to do for the hair and the vest. And then of course we're going to need some paints as well. I am using Tester's acrylic paint, and I'm also mixing it with some other acrylic paint as well. Now we just need to take apart the figure, particularly the arms, and I also needed to cut off the jacket because it is glued in there. And don't worry about the little scuff marks because we're going to be sculpting over them anyways. And we gotta pop off the head as well. Now I am going to give a thorough cleaning, a nice little bubble bath for the Joker. You need to do this in order for the paint and the epoxy sculpt to properly adhere to it, so please don't skip this step. I've done it before and I have regretted it. So I'm just using dish soap, some warm water, and a toothbrush to scrub it. Now to mix the epoxy, you just need 2 ball sizes, and then you just make them into hot dogs and twist them together. Just twist it together and fold it in on itself, and then twist that, and then just keep repeating the process, and then you can roll it into a ball till you have something like this where it's all mixed together in one color. Now I am going to go ahead and start applying it to the figure to make the shape of the vest. Of course, the look I'm trying to go for is classic comic or even Batman the Animated Series type Joker. So I want to add a vest over the shirt, and we'll be adding a one of those longer bow ties as well. My next step is to go in and add some more details. So right here, I'm adding the section of where the 2 sides of the vest meet together, where the buttons are, and I'm using some tools to go ahead and sculpt in some wrinkles. I'm also going to add some clay, as I said, to sculpt in the bow tie that he is wearing. Fairly straightforward, just looking at reference material to try to make it as accurate as possible. And then I'm going to go in with some more sculpting tools in order to add in all of the finishing detail. Pretty happy with the sculpt so far, but I wanted to pop on the jacket to make sure it fits, and unfortunately it was way too thick, and I wanted to keep that slender silhouette for the Joker. So I decided to grab a knife and to start to carve away some of the sides and the back of it, just so that it is a much slimmer fit. Painting the shirt is pretty straightforward. I am just using a mixture of oranges and yellows to give it that bright, almost neon orange look. And I'm also going to add in some other color paints, some lighter color paints, to just kind of give it some of a lighting effect, a little more detail, make it pop out a little bit more. And then of course it's just painting the shirt in again, a green color, and then painting the bow tie. I went with a very dark bluish green, almost black type color. Here's a good look at the torso once it is all painted. Very happy with the result, so it's time to go ahead and move on to the hair. But before we do that, I would like to encourage you, if you want to buy some of these DC McFarlane figures and add them to your collection, or any other toy or collectible, make sure you check out Big Bad Toy Store and use the link in my bio so they know that I sent you. And using the same method as before, I am using the 2-part epoxy to sculpt in the wing type shapes that the Joker is often depicted as having in his hair. So just making sure it sticks, it is in the shape that I want, and then again using sculpting tools to make the lines within the hair, making sure it follows the same pattern as the hair and just looks more realistic. And here's a look at the sculpted hair. Of course, the next step is to paint it, and for that we're using a green color. This paint that you see right now is very bright green, but I do end up doing a couple layers after it to darken it up just a little bit. But now that the first layer of green paint is on the hair, I want to do something to the face. I think the face is nearly perfect, however, the skin tone is a little too dark for me, a little too of like a grayish green color. So I'm just going to take a white wash and just basically very gently brush it over the top of the face. Then afterwards, I wipe it off with a cloth, and I kind of do that a couple of times. Again, I don't want it to be super bright white, and I don't want to lose the detail. I just want to lighten it up just a bit and make it more accurate. So here's a look at that once it is done. Pretty happy with this. I think it looks much better. Very happy with this. And then the next step is to add a protective coating. So for this, I use Mod Podge. So I just do a very light layer of Mod Podge all around the figure, anywhere that I've added a custom to it, and it kind of just helps protect it and seal it. And once the Mod Podge has dried, it is time to go ahead and adhere the jacket back onto the vest. So for this, I am using some contact cement. Contact cement you put on both surfaces, let it get a little bit tacky, and then you adhere them together. Once they're adhered, there's really no moving them. They are stuck. So I'm just squeezing it onto the figure here and then just holding it for a little bit while it stays. And one last step that I did not show on camera, I painted some white onto his shoes just to give it more of a classic look. And before we show the final result, if you've enjoyed this video, I encourage you to punch that like button and of course hit subscribe. Thank you for joining me in this project. If you enjoyed it, I hope you will let me know down in the comments below. And if you want to see more stuff like this, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I have new videos coming out soon that I'm so excited to share with you. As always, happy creating.